This is King Noble Black Supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to talk about how black supremacy transcends the material plane, the material world, the one that we're currently living in right now, the transcendental nature of black divinity. And that kind of explains God in flesh, what that really means. Understanding the transcendental nature of black divinity. Now, the plane we live on, called the physical plane, the fourth dimension, Earth, this is the realm of the murky ethers. Where we live in is a very dense vibration. Very dense. And to be able to see through all that density of the vibrations of this material plane, your third eye has to be open. Metaphoric for you have to have a higher perception. You have to be able to pierce through the veil of illusion to see the divine reality that exists simultaneously, that exists immediately, that is very present. But one of the objects of the material world, the objectives, is to distract you from the divine and spiritual reality that exists. A lot of people talk about astral traveling, going to different planes, going to different dimensions, going to different realms in their sleep. But all that's a precursor to open up your consciousness, to pierce through the density of this material world in order to see black divinity, in order to gaze into the black supreme reality. We're in the realm of murky ethers. And out of our ego, our desire for perfection, for human perfection, or our measurements of human perfection, distract us from piercing through the density in order to see black divinity. Because black divinity can only be seen by the enlightened, can only be seen by the mind that is waking up, living in the present, but seeing the ancient future all in once. But everything going on in this plane, this is the realm of distraction. To distract you from seeing that, because you get caught up into what you consider to be human flaws. What is mundane, the norm. And some of you all want to change the mundane. You spend all of your work trying to change the mundane world. And you're going to show the supernatural reality or the true paranormal state of the spiritual selfhood through the quest for human perfection. You're trying to change the world of the mundane, make it better, solve all the problems, fix all the problems. Address all the problems, deal with all the problems, the issues, the dramas, the this. And all of those problems that are there for a purpose, all of those situations, all of those points of observation, that entire perceptual framework has been placed there to distract you from black divinity. So you can no longer gaze into limitless possibility, but you can be stifled by people, situations, circumstances, and events. And not people, situations, circumstances, and events, but the perceptions of these people, circumstances, and events that are less than divine, that don't meet or live up to the divine reality. I got to go in on this. You cannot make this world, this plane better. It's here to do what it's do. Distract of those whom it can distract. Get the people caught up into it who can be caught up into it. And allow those who are liberated souls to pierce through it and to return their consciousness back to the divine mind, back to the divine reality, back into divine seership. That's what these situations are for. To distract you, to have you so much believing in the shit that everything that you see here or experience here has more importance than the divine reality. And now you're caught up because you can't see through this shit anymore. It is the ends that you see. It's no longer a means. Because the only way God can be recognized is in flesh. God does not need to be seen in the spiritual world. Because God is the totality of the spiritual reality, the essence, the fabric. So God can only show up here. But we're so distracted by the flesh, fleshy situations, juicy situations. We're so distracted by that. And to now we believe in that and we're stuck in reaction. We're stuck in the reactionary nature of the material world. Reacting to this perception and reacting to your perception of that perception. And you are caught up in the realm of reactionary perception, not realizing that black divinity can be called higher perception, but it goes beyond all perception. Because perception creates this plane of many angles or many dimensions of seeing things. That's how you get falsehood. When you exist in a realm of multiple perceptions, falsehood can exist. Contradictory perceptions can exist. So the black divinity transcends all perception. And you have ascended from the realm of perception when your gaze have become situated on black divinity. And no matter what perceptions happen in this plane, or how many perceptions are casted, broadcasted, how many spells are casted, your mind is situated in the divine reality. You're no longer in the Maya or the illusion. The purpose of this plane is to distract you from divinity. To get caught up in the bullshit, in the misperceptions, in the many, many, many misperceptions. You cannot work things out in a false realm, in a false reality. You cannot. The nature of it is false. You must transcend it to fix it. And black divinity is transcendental, but it is embodied in the physical. But if you caught up in any physical aspect or any physical dimension, you no longer can see the black divinity. You're completely distracted. It is profane and no longer profound. Debased. There is nothing perfect about the realm of multiple perceptions. You cannot achieve perfection within perception. That the perfection that is black divinity is beyond perception, thus beyond this plane. But while it is beyond this plane, it's God in flesh. It's situated in the flesh that so many perspectives and narratives have been casted on. A flesh that must move through these murky ethers and even take on the illusion of being murky. It has to take on the illusion of the atmosphere that is moving through. So black divinity must move through this material filth that we call earth, that we call this plane, this sickness, this disease, this contradiction, this superficiality, this matrix. The divine must move through this. Thus, at times, it appears to be this. That's when you look at a black God that is returning flesh and say, you a nigga just like anybody else. The divine is moving through this physical circumstance or situation that we call earth, that we call the fourth dimensional reality. And while God is moving through this fourth dimensional reality versus you seeing the black divinity and being focused and situated on that, all you can do is keep picking out fourth dimensional shit. Sex, money, drugs, politics. That's all you can see. But because a divine entity would have to move through this, there's nowhere else to move on this plane than through sex, money, drugs, politics. This plane itself is contradictory to the nature of God. This plane itself is contradictory. So divinity does not contradict itself. It contradicts the plane, this plane. And when it exists in this plane, many things may appear to be contradictory. But it's not black divinity. It is not black divinity contradicting itself. It is black divinity existing in the realm of contradiction. This is the realm of contradiction. This is the realm of double and multiple truths that we call perceptions. Black divinity is beyond perception. It is the truth. It is the wholeness. It is the implicit order. It is the unsplit, unfractioned whole. We're in the realm of multidimensionality. Your challenge is, can you see through the material murky ethers, the denseness of this vibration, to stay focused on black divinity so that you can ascend beyond this plane, or you're stuck here because all you can see is the material nature. That's all is reconfirmed for you, is this material plane. You cannot see God in flesh because you think that God is going to come here without flesh. So you think the flesh contradicts God. No, the flesh contradicts itself. God is God as long as one's mind is situated on divinity, irregardless of moving through the realm of contradiction. Black divinity transcends the material reality. Many of you are trying to fix the material reality. You're trying to work out the contradictions. You are distracted. This is the realm of contradiction. This is the realm of bullshit. And you got to be in the world, but be not of it. Bullshit has always been here, and bullshit will always be here. This plane is the composite of bullshit. It is recycled. All this shit is manured. It's recycled consciousness of black divinity. Let me simplify. Many of you going through situations in your life that in your mind may be contradicting black divinity. You're going through challenges, going through struggles. And all those challenges and struggles that you are going through has been meant to distract you. Because the ultimate dilemma is you being trapped on this plane because you believe in this shit and you're unable to pierce through it to see black divinity. Your most traumatic situations and circumstances in your life is meant to make you believe in this realm, to be attached to this planet so that you cannot ascend. And to some, that means attached to this life. No, life is eternal. I'm talking about attached to this vibrational frequency of sleep that is commonly known as this planet. So a lot of the situations and circumstances in your life, that's what it's meant to put you in hell, to trap you in hell, to distract you from your divinity long enough to believe that this is the limitations of your existence, to believe that it's a contradiction, to think you are a contradiction. You are not a contradiction. You are beyond relativity and duality. This plane is a contradiction because it is the realm of relativity. It is the realm of duality. God cannot contradict himself. While you can exist juxtaposed to a contradictory plane, and you can show up in the realm of contradiction, because the realm of contradiction is also all-encompassing, because it contains polar opposites. See, black divinity is no opposites. It's both without polarity. This realm is opposites, is relativity, is duality. Many of you get distracted by duality, thinking you can solve the problem. And see, religion messed people up with that because it got them on the path of trying to find human perfection and disqualify black divinity based on the ability to perceive human perfection or human flaw, when black divinity transcends human perfection, which is relative to your religion, your philosophy, your ideology. Human perfection is relative. What's perfect to somebody is imperfect to others. And what's perfect today will be imperfect tomorrow. The quest for human perfection is futile and useless, and a distraction. Your object is to focus purely and totally and absolutely on black divinity fully. And at the point that you're able to do that, then you consciously ascend at that point where you'll no longer get caught up into the duality, into the multiple perceptions, into the perceptionary world. You'll no longer be in hell. You'll be stable, in bliss, situated in your higher mind, gazing at nonstop, ceaseless black divinity, irregardless of what's going on on this plane that man is judging and discriminating on and building his ego up on. And his ego is relative and belongs to duality. Black divinity transcends duality. It transcends this material world, this world of contradiction. That's why I can show you a picture as King Noble here, as a Nubian pharaoh, and then I can show you a picture of King Noble as the Buddha. And you say, well, that's two different religions. That's two different time frames. Black divinity transcends the material reality, but it has a way of appearing into this material world for those who are at an ascendant enough level to perceive, to have reverence for, and to defend and protect through their reverence and through their devotion. Your spirit is like a Star Trek ship moving through a particular plane. This earth is a particular plane. And it is a plane of contradiction, duality, oppositions. Where is your focus? Where is your mind? And people think I'm just specifically talking about Earth. I'm calling it Earth because we're here. But you're really situated in a vibrational frequency space. You're moving through an energetic frequency that we're calling a plane. And you're getting caught up here. That's why you're having depression and disappointment and you're upset, because you believe in that bullshit can give you anything other than that. You have to ascend beyond the contradictory nature of this plane itself, of this material plane, of this material existence. It's meant to confuse, to delude, to distract. It's meant to do that. That's his job. Once you go beyond that, you'll be situated in a space where all you will see is black divinity. Your frequency will elevate. And you'll go through another plane. Even though you will still be here on this space, but you will be at another frequency vibration where you won't see the contradictions. You won't be distracted by the contradictions. You won't be distracted by the bullshit anymore. Because the bullshit has just recycled manure for your potential growth and ascension. But if you focused on that, it's bullshit, and you get caught up in the bullshit, then you will not grow. You will not ascend. You cannot use it as compost. You cannot use it as the composition of black divinity. I had to go in on this. Our quest for perfection materially or on any level on this plane is what has distracted us from black divinity. It has distracted us. You're disappointed in the realm of disappointment. Go beyond this realm. Go beyond the perceptual framework of this realm, or it's going to keep giving you what you've been getting. If you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same result. Why are you surprised? The challenge is, can your mind stay situated in black divinity through all of the illusions and contradictions of this plane? That is your true spiritual journey here. The Buddha, when he sat by the Bodhi tree, was visited by many demons that was trying to distract him from meditation, from the attainment of enlightenment, for oneness within himself. And he did not achieve enlightenment till he was no longer distracted by the illusionary world. The illusionary world is going on. Every time you hear somebody gossiping, the illusionary world going on. Every time somebody is finding flaw. Every time somebody is attacking something. Attacking themselves. Depressed. Disappointed. The illusionary world is going on. The real question is, are you distracted by it? Is your mind situated in black divinity? Because once you achieve that state of black divinity, once you situated in it, not only do you transform yourself, you also can transform the vibrational frequency of this plane. At that point, you become a bodhisattva. A bodhisattva, you become a devotional servant to the transformation of the vibrational frequency of this planet by not longer vibrating with the bullshit and being situated in the divine reality. You began to change the frequency of this plane into divine reality. That's world change. Kosen Rufu. That's when world change begins to happen. You begin to change this planet. But as long as you caught up in the bullshit and the contradictions and depressed and disappointed and believing in the material shit, believing in illusions and expecting something more from the imperfect and imperfection, and realizing that the perfect state is inside of you and that you're meant to be the perfection in the situation of your mind and consciousness and your ability to stay focused on the black supreme reality. This is King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate, don't hate. Subscribe now to my YouTube page. Hit subscribe. Hit the like button. Make sure you hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I do a new video to stay on top of what's going on with the Black Supremacy movement and this consciousness paradigm shift. Follow me on Instagram, kingnobleuncensored.c.o.m. Black Supremacy.